Okay, what is up, Dr. Hit? Currently, I'm in an Airbnb. I'm between leases right now, so I didn't have the ability to go do stuff at my normal desk and everything. So that's why you see my dog back there. Um, Additionally, we're gonna have to do a video reflection again as well because I use a Chromebook. So I've tried doing Google Slides, I tried doing Microsoft PowerPoint. Just the laptop that I had was not compatible with those in terms of doing the narrated slide presentation and actually getting audio into those slides. So I will be doing the video reflection instead. So yeah, I'll be able to just work my way down. I will say the other thing is for class, I actually rooted my lesson plan out of a notebook instead of doing a textual copy. You can actually see it right here. I'll take a picture of this so you can actually look at everything. But it was really nice. I like writing stuff down. So the fact that I can actually have a notebook in class, I definitely found beneficial. So going through this, describe your composure during the lesson, similar things. I've never really struggled in terms of doing like presentations or anything. I have a communication background. Um, Transitioning into actually teaching content as opposed to teaching something just in my personal life, obviously you have to make sure you're keeping the same passion and everything. Students are not going to be as engaged if you are teaching something that you don't enjoy. So being able to teach poetry, ELA, pretty much any text. I love reading, I love writing. So to be able to still incorporate that passion that I had in my previous lessons, it definitely helps keep the students engaged, keep them motivated, and kind of keep the class functioning. So in terms of composure during the lesson, I felt pretty content with it. I think that I had a pretty good understanding and handle on time management, way better this time than I did the last time. And always being conscious of hand movements, the way I walk around the classroom. I try to be mobile and move as much as I can to just kind of keep everything feeling fresh. However, like I said last time, I have to be able to kind of rein it in sometimes. I have Italian on my family, sometimes like speaking with my hands a lot, throwing everything around. So I just got to make sure to keep it a little bit in check, just to make sure I don't kind of cross over that threshold into distracting students or anything. But yeah, overall in terms of composure, I'm very confident in terms of that. It's talking in front of a class and giving a presentation. That's just really never something I've found too much struggle with. So, but making sure I keep the passion and everything, even when teaching content, will be important to me. In terms of my hook for the audience, so I tried using student autonomy a lot in this lesson. I actually began with a story about how I had decided on a specific poem, developed my entire lesson plan, got bored after finishing my homework and finishing the lesson plan, continued consuming poetry, a bunch of different poets that I was loving, stumbled upon another poem that I was like, you know what, I think I'd rather teach this one. So I got to bring in student autonomy and say, hey class, this is the decision and choice that you guys get to make. Which poem would you like to read? I gave a little bit of background information on both of them. They were both by the same authors, but it was fun to incorporate that. So, and now we're being able to reflect and recognize how important student autonomy is actually really nice. And to be able to incorporate that as your hook, really, at least for me, I felt it made the students engage right away. And to be able to open class with the students being able to make the choice of what they do that day, I think it's just going to continue to facilitate kind of classroom engagement and really making sure students not only want to be there or not only have to be there, but want to be there as well. But yeah, so I definitely think being able to begin with student autonomy right at the beginning of class hooked my audience and hopefully they stayed there the rest of the time as well. So moving on, discussing how we scaffolded the lesson. So because it was a shorter lesson, I really just wanted to do some Socratic seminar. I wanted to provide them the content, so provide them the text, and immediately have a couple big questions for them to reflect on their engagement with that text. A little bit more difficult to do when they don't have like an overnight homework assignment where they can really start to write stuff down and have some more concrete ideas. It was a little bit more difficult to say, hey, like consume this poem and then immediately be forced to talk about it in an educational and like academic setting. It's not easy to do. So I think if I had longer time, I would scaffold it a little bit differently. However, that's what I had to do for this one. So we consumed media content right away after allowing for student autonomy. And then we pretty much immediately got into a reflection side of that and going into analysis and getting into the content of what that text actually talked about. So yeah, that's definitely what I would do, and how I scaffolded this lesson. Again, if I had more time, I would definitely do it differently and be able to add a little bit more content, and add more background, because I think the more background you get usually makes for easier reading comprehension. So I'd always try to incorporate that as much as possible. In terms of pacing, I feel like in terms of like the time that I was given, I think I utilized it to the best of my ability. Like I said, immediately beginning with a hook, got the students engaged right away. We got into consuming the media and content, which were only about 4 or 5 minutes, to then transition into about 15 minutes worth of Socratic seminar. So for only having 20 minutes, I feel like I used it to the best of my ability to try to get as much out of it as I could. The only thing, again, just with more time, 20 minutes is not a lot of time to teach a lesson. So I wish I had more time because I would have been able to develop a lot more things and do more things in that time period. But for having to consume media and then like be able to formulate thoughts about it in 20 minutes was really, really tough. So in terms of pacing, based on the time constraints, I feel like I did the best I could. But yeah, definitely having more time would make things a lot easier. And then, of course, last but not least, what would you do differently? Having more time would be able to change everything. Um, Specifically, in terms of what you would do differently to do the content teaching, I think in ELA classrooms, you need to give students time with the content. So I think not saying, hey, can we watch a poem or read a poem and then immediately talk about it right after. I'd like to give them that kind of as a homework assignment, reading assignment overnight, and then they can come in the next day, have some formulated ideas, things ready to talk about. So that would definitely be the main thing I would do differently. And again, specifically for this assignment, it was contextualized. We only had 20 minutes. I wasn't going to give my group a reading assignment for homework the night before. So I had to work within the confines of this specific assignment. So that's what I would do differently is be able to give a little bit more background. But again, the hands were a little bit tied. But overall, I thought it went pretty well. So I was pretty content with it. And yeah, I got to see the jump of giving a presentation about something I'm passionate about into teaching content, which I'm still passionate about, but I'm a little bit less passionate about poetry than like eating food on a day-by-day basis, like I did with tofu. So definitely being able to keep up that passion, keep up that drive, but also make my class interesting is going to be a big thing. So it was enjoyable, and I enjoyed this entire experience, developing the lesson plan and everything. And like I said, being able to change up and use things out of a notebook. I had some guiding discussion questions on the second page here. That's what I rooted the Socratic seminar in. So I definitely was content with how this went, and this is going to be something I'd like to experience with a little bit more, utilizing my lesson plans in written form, and being able to utilize that notebook and everything. Because I like to jump in and talk in those Socratic seminars. So not only do I ask questions in here, I actually like to give a little answer as well, my interpretations of the text and everything like that. So in case the Socratic seminar does start to die down, our students aren't talking as much, I have content and I have information that I can immediately jump in and hopefully help spark other students to becoming more engaged. But yeah, that's everything that I have here. So thank you very much, and hopefully you're okay with the way that I put this up because I've been having a lot of technological issues. But thank you very much, Dr. Hitt, for the great semester. Appreciate you.